we are talking about handling adversity. This is part 2 of the show, and lots more coming up. Let's take a caller. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
आपके प्रोग्राम से मुझे ये नगमा याद आया, रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के।
अरे नेक्स्ट वाला गाना तो यही है,
कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बहार के। और क्योंकि वो तो बहुत बड़ी कैलेमिटी थी, जो वॉर, रिफ्यूजी स्टेटस, रोटी कपड़ा मकान, हम लोग उसके लिए इंतजार कर रहे थे। तो वो तो थी, एवरीडे एडवर्सिटी तो चलती रहती है, बट कई सालों तक मुझे वो वॉर और रिफ्यूजी स्टेटस ने मेरी एडवर्सिटी को डील करना सिखाया। एंड देन एवरीडे लाइफ में डेफिनेटली लोग आते हैं जाते हैं, अप्स डाउन्स, बीमारियां, डेथ ऑफ माय मॉम, माय मदर इन लॉ, सडन डेथ, सो बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी होती हैं, मगर फाउंडेशन वो एडवर्सिटी का रखा था, वो वॉर और रिफ्यूजी स्टेटस, रोटी कपड़ा मकान की उम्मीद फॉर माई लाइफ एंड फॉर माई सिबलिंग्स लाइफ, तो इसलिए मैं वो ज्यादातर उस पर स्ट्रेस देती हूँ जब भी एडवर्सिटी और या हार्डशिप की बात होती है। तो उसके साथ ये नगमा मुझे बहुत याद आया, और भी नगमे हैं मगर अब आपने लगा दिया तो लव टू हियर इट। टेक केयर बोथ ऑफ यू, एक्सीलेंट टॉपिक, इट रिलेट्स वेरी वेल विद माय लाइफ, बट अल्लाह का शुक्र, इट हैज ऑल लाइक अल्लाह का शुक्र, पेशेंस, थैंकफुलनेस, ब्लेसिंग्स। और जो लोग और तकालीफ से गुजर रहे हैं, मैं अक्सर ऑब्जर्व करती हूँ, जब वो ऑब्जर्व करो तो उम्मीद जागती है कि नहीं, इंशाल्लाह उनका भी अच्छा हो और हमारा भी अच्छा हो। तो एम्पैथी बहुत डेवलप हुई। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर एन एक्सीलेंट टॉपिक। थैंक यू।
Thank you for that. Yeah. All right. So we need to talk about why do we feel so anxious जब हम anxiety क्या कहते हैं adversity में होते हैं?
झांकते हैं दिल के अंदर सभी लोग, let's all do this together. Let's take a deep dive in our hearts and think about the times that you've been anxious when you're facing adversity, and why do you think that happens? For me, the first thing that comes to mind is because I think that we live in a time and age, and also because our brains are wired to seek certainty and some level of control.
Yeah.
Adversity threatens both. You're not in control, and there is a whole bunch of uncertainty now that's staring back at you. And therefore, for you to feel anxious during that time is just your brain's way of going into, oh my God, what now? So, when you panic or when you feel that मुझे अब control नहीं है, मुझे ये situation पे कोई amount of certainty नहीं है कि क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, तो वहाँ पे anxiousness होना बराबर है.
So fear of the unknown.
Yes.
Yep. All right, let's take a caller. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
Assalamualaikum, my friend Tasneem.
Walaikum assalam.
I lost a little bit, train of thought, but still, अभी जब तस्नीम कह रही थी कि, आप ये सब कर सकते हैं, आपको पता नहीं होता कि आप ये सब कर सकते हैं, तो पता है आपको बहुत मेंटली डिसेबल कर दिया जाता है, क्या करके you're not gonna be able to handle any of this. और जो आपके सामान जो होता है, घर के जो काम होते हैं, जिसमें पैसा इन्वॉल्व होता है, पता है वो डिलिबरेटली आपको नहीं दिया जाता कि टू कीप अ कंट्रोल. इट्स नॉट दैट यू डोंट नो. अगर आपने फाइनेंस में घुसने की कोशिश करी तो फिर आपको पता है कि दे विल लूज कंट्रोल. सो दैट नॉट दैट दे वर केयरिंग इनफ टू डील विद द vendors or all that, what not. Everything of that nature involves money, and they don't want you to step on that territory because of the control. I came to realize that not later, but I did. लेकिन पता है मुझे किस चीज ने हमेशा खड़ा रखा, मुझे एक चीज ने बहुत ज्यादा खड़ा रखा कि मेरे जो फादर थे, since he was opposite sex, हमारे 11 बेटियों को लेके वो सुबह फजर की नमाज के बाद फील्ड में जाते थे एक्सरसाइज के लिए. And he used to sing this song, 11 daughters, look at the courage. I didn't realize at that time because I was very young, like 6-7 year old, तो वो ये गाना गाते थे, चल चल वे नौजवान, रुकना तेरा काम नहीं, चलना तेरी शान, तू आगे बढ़े जा, आफत से लड़े जा, आंधी है तूफान, चल चल वे नौजवान. तो वो वर्ड है, ऐसे घूमते हैं. मेरी बहन भी मुझसे यही कहती है कि हमारे घर में all the confidence I had. My mom was very good mom as well, but from opposite gender, giving us that confidence, because when I was told, oh, you're not able to do this, my dead words will come to my mind that you can achieve anything a man can. You
Yep.
can achieve, you can do anything a man can.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the words will just ring in my head. I said, that's not true. Even though I don't speak up and say, oh, I can do it. Even though, but that stayed with me. और एक गाना है जो कि बहुत ही अच्छा अभी आप कह रही थी कि ना life is, people say life is unfair. So I laughed when they said, it says life is very fair because it's unfair to everyone. उसके अंदर rich भी आते हैं उसके अंदर अगर ऐसे ही होता rich people है ना वो नींद की गोलियां लेके नहीं सो रहे. So they have everything, right? They like needs, or wants, needs and want everything. But why they? Because like he said, everybody has some kind of, back of their, behind us. And all this when I go through, I'm still going through, made me understand I already knew I was from the starting kindness and respect in our house was a big thing. लेकिन मुझे इंसाइट पता चला कि जो लोग खामोशी में अपने आप को झेल रहे हैं सब या जो सफेद पोश हैं जो अपने गम अपनी तकलीफें अपनी गुर्बत नहीं बताते because they have their I wouldn't call it ego, their self-respect. तो वो सब चीजें मुझे समझने में बहुत and I'm dissecting. शुरू से मैं philosopher थी. मेरे even in a young age I was a philosopher because कुछ भी चीज देखती थी तो कहती थी ऐसा क्यों ये क्यों इस तरह से क्यों जैसे कि मैं किसी होमलेस को देखती तो मेरे ध्यान में आता है कि what brought them here were they like this from the starting what they could have learned education what brought them here. I go in deep thinking about it again and again.
Absolutely.
And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so
गाना
much.
जो मुझे बहुत पसंद है बहुत मोटिवेशनल सॉन्ग है अगर टाइम मिले तो जरूर लगाना और ये मेरी जिंदगी का गाना है कांटों से खींच के यहाँ से.
ठीक है अर्जुन, thank you so much. All right Janam. All right, so we're talking about why adversity creates anxiety.
So पहले तो हो गया कि वो certainty as we said वो चली जाती है जिससे what you said कि एक fear हो जाता है. अभी एक brain one of our functions of our brain is also to keep us safe. So when you're going through adversity, that safety net gets threatened as well. So when you are concerned of, when your brain is concerned that is this person safe, the unknown therefore obviously scares us, which also then generates more anxiousness. And our imagination at that point gets larger than life, like this fly right now. Is also going through some adversity. Looks like it's not leaving me alone. I hope it doesn't go into my mouth. But imagination becomes okay. Our imagination becomes louder than reality, and we start catastrophizing, which is what if. सब वो जो what if वाले scenario के what if ये हो जाएगा, what if वो हो जाएगा, and you're thinking the worst case possible. When you start catastrophizing in your brain, that's when your anxiousness takes on momentum and it will start making you feel more and more restless and anxious and frozen. The fight or flight response then that actually is an innate function of the brain to protect you from safety, then that is lost and you're probably just frozen or you're fighting too much or you're flighting too much, whatever the case may be. We lose routine when adversity comes in. Remember, another way of the human being functions best is because we have certain routines in place. When you're faced with big life challenges or small everyday challenges which seem larger than life, एक routine वो मिस हो जाता है. And routine से क्या होता है? You create an emotional safety net for yourself. When that goes lopsided, again, it makes you feel anxious. So these are things to pay attention to when you're facing adversity. Make sure that you stick to routine. Discipline when you're going through adversity is so important because that's what is going to keep you grounded and feeling safe. Our nervous system becomes overwhelmed because sleep starts suffering. And we all know the connection between sleep and how everything just feels more worse if you've not had a well-rested night. And then couple that with loads of unrested nights, like back to back. That is a complete recipe for disaster. And I'm sure you may have talked about it on your show with Dr. Basaria too, how the importance of sleep is so important to your well-being and just your daily ability to function and see through life. Now, another thing that happens when you are feeling adverse is we tend to isolate. We get into our own dark hole and dark space where we feel हमें किसी से बात नहीं करनी. Okay, Aisha.
This fly is not cooperating. I need a fly swatter.
Go away.
Okay.
Yeah, I will try to do the swatting. Become the SWAT team. No, but we isolate, and loneliness magnifies pain, as we all know that हम जब किसी से बात नहीं करते, and this I'm not talking only about seeking help. Sometimes we know our solution, so it's not about seeking professional help only. It's about okay. Thank you.
There.
Oh, it's still there?
No, at the bottom.
It fell? Okay,
yeah, there we go.
Alrighty. We have done Operation Adversity.
Live on YouTube.
ये क्लिप जरूर डालना कि हम क्या क्या करते हैं आपके लिए सिर्फ और सिर्फ. So ये जो एक isolation हो जाती है, जो loneliness के के वजह से you magnify the pain. जब आप अकेले होते तब क्या होता है? The mind magnifies the pain because आप उसी में जी रहे हैं, सो रहे हैं, वही सोच रहे हैं. So it's difficult to feel like there's a way out. And lastly then, we forget कि हम ये पहले इससे निकल चुके हैं. ऐसे टाइप की एडवर्सिटी से, कि ऐसी मुश्किलों से, we forget our past victories, which makes it unimaginable. Okay, how will I deal with this? Because we do not remember that we are capable and we have done similar things in the past.
All right.
All of these reasons that we feel anxious, and therefore all of these are reasons enough to practice so that we can cope with that anxiousness which you're going to face. So remember to have a routine, to try to rest, even if you cannot sleep, listening to some kind of calming music or practicing those techniques and tools which are going to help you to feel more restful, making sure that you tell your brain, like do the thought reframing and don't go into any catastrophizing thought pattern. And all of these things are so important. Asking for help, reaching out to somebody to talk to, just share your suffering with is so critical.
Yeah, with supportive people, for sure. I think also an important point is controllable factors and uncontrollable factors, and accepting what you cannot change, right?
Yeah.
I wish ke ye nahi hota.
Yeah. I always say, draw 2 columns and say in my control, out of my control. And stick to that which is in your control, because out of your control list can be long or short, but that's something that's not in your control.
Yeah. What would you say are some practical coping techniques? I know you talked about the importance of a routine and how important that is, right?
If you're looking at practical coping techniques, simply first, let me recap on something I may have done in previous shows, which I use and which is really, really beneficial, is the box breathing. The box breathing is used a lot by our Navy SEALs as well, because they lead such a stressful life and they use this. The box breathing is very beneficial for improving your sleep, your mood, balancing out your emotional dysregulation. It even calms your blood pressure issues if you have any. So box breathing, very simple. Recap over here if you've missed any of our previous shows where I have talked about, is where you inhale for a count of 4. You hold for a count of 4. You exhale for a count of 4 from your mouth if you prefer. And you hold the exhale for a count of 4. So you inhale for a count of 4, count in your mind 1, 2,
we are demonstrating
3, 4. You hold that breath for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. You exhale from the mouth 2, 3, 4, and you hold that exhale 2, 3, 4. Now you do this for 4 cycles, 4 times. 4 times is equal to 1 cycle. That's the minimum you need to do in order to feel any kind of beneficial impact doing this breathing technique. However, if you feel, yaar, mujhe for 2 cycles karni hai, 3 cycles karni hai, to all the more power to you. But you need to at least do it 4 times to complete.
So what does this do? It calms the nervous system.
It calms the nervous system. It improves your mood. It helps in your sleep. It lowers your blood pressure. It just is amazing. Make it a practice. I, in fact, now have gotten habituated to doing it before bed every day. It just comes automatically to me. It just kind of calms your nerves down. So very, very important. This one, you can try it. Other practical techniques, I would say, is also the physiological sigh. That's also another very simple but very practical tool to use to calm your nerves down, especially when you're feeling very anxious. This one is where you take a deep inhale and then you squeeze in a little more. So what you're doing is you're taking 2 inhales, but you're taking 1 deep inhale, and then you're squeezing in a little more so that, you know, your lungs are really full, and then you're letting go with 1 long exhale. And this is an instant nervous system reset. Try it. You will feel it even right now. If you're in the car, you're at home, watching, listening, try this. It's 1 deep inhale, squeeze in a little more. So it's 2 inhales and 1 long exhale.
And how many times do you do this?
This can be just done once to feel the impact. But if you have 30 seconds to a minute, you can keep doing this and you will feel very relieved from your anxiousness. It's called the physiological sigh. Another technique that I recommend very often is called the grounding technique. The grounding technique, very simple again. It involves all of your senses. So why is it called the grounding technique? Because when you're feeling anxious, your mind wanders. You're thinking about what could have been, so your past, or you're thinking about what can be the catastrophe that you're, imagining in your head because of the adversity. So the grounding technique uses all 5 of your senses to bring you back to the present moment, because the present moment is the only thing that you have in your control, so to speak. So to get you back to reality and to the present moment, 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So if I had to demonstrate this here, 5 things that I can see. I can see my phone. I can see Aisha's her iPad. I can see wires. I can see the microphone, and I can see a watch clock. So these are 5 things that I can see. 4 things that I can touch. 4 things I can touch. You can touch this How bottle of water. Please notice the plug-in. I can see my phone. I can see the headphones. I can see spectacles, and I can see some pens lying around. Were there 5? But 4. 4 things that you can touch. 3 things that I can hear. I can hear my voice. I can hear Aisha's voice. I can hear the hum of the air conditioner in this room. 2 things that I can smell. I can smell the perfume that I sprayed on this morning, and I can also smell the air of the studio. When you come into an air conditioned room, there's a certain fragrance that the room carries. I can smell that. 1 thing that I can taste. Well, I had coffee in the car when I was driving in. So the taste of the coffee is somewhere still lingering on my tongue. If there's something that you cannot taste, you can always put a sweet or a candy into your mouth so that you can taste it if you feel that I cannot taste anything right now. So what this does is I've used sight, I've used touch, I've used my hearing, I've used my sense of smell and my sense of taste, which forces the brain to come back to the present moment. So this grounding technique, very, very effective to bring your state of mind back to what's in your control, which is the present moment. Then an age-old one, which I've spoken about several times, journaling. Write your thoughts down, journal your thoughts out. There is a neuroscientific connection between your thoughts and putting them down on paper. So if it's in your thoughts, it's still just thoughts. The minute it comes out on paper, there's a sense of release. There's an action plan that you can actually write out. Reframing your thoughts from a negative outlook to how you can be more action oriented or solution focused. That's important. Movement. Who can deny the importance of exercise and some form of movement if you don't feel like getting yourself to what you were doing previously because of the adversity, like heavy duty gym or whatever sport that you were following? Even just a walk, even just a stretch, even just walking around the home movement for 10-15 minutes. I think forcing yourself literally when you're going through adversity to do that, get some form of exercise in, is so important to the dopamine levels in your brain, which help you become more resilient. And last but certainly not the least is to live in a state of gratitude. There'll always be something that you can be grateful for. Look for it, seek it, find it, write it. That will help make it real for you, actually putting what you're grateful for on paper. It could be the food you eat, just having that one person to share your woes with. Could just be the fact that you're healthy while you're facing through this, or whatever else. I'm sure if you look, there will be many things that you can find for things to be grateful for.
Excellent advice. I think I want to add some kind of a practical, like problem solving, right? Sometimes we are completely overwhelmed with the magnitude of what we're facing. So if you break it up into small manageable pieces and sort of decide, all right, I'm going to tackle X, Y, and Z day one, A and B day two, and just sort of prioritize it that way, that can help
एक tangible list बनाना कि यार मुझे पहले ये करना पड़ेगा, फिर ये करना पड़ेगा. Laying it down, as you're rightfully saying, is so important. And I cannot stress also on the importance of prayer over here. We talked about it. And that, I mean, each to their own practice, but it could just mean stillness. Taking that pause to actually be still, reflect, be hopeful, have faith, if not in the higher power, in Allah Ta'ala, then whatever it is that you want to believe in terms of holding on to that faith, is also very, very important.
Yeah. How do you support somebody who's facing adversity?
Yeah. If you're blessed, as you said, you shared that story in the beginning of that friend of yours who felt that, he was in a place to help somebody who was going through adversity. Firstly, be grateful to have been given that opportunity to be put in that place. I think, we tend to, when helping people in adversity, we tend to come across as yellow solution. We are quick to offer a solution. Kabhi that person is not looking for a solution. They know their own solutions. They're looking for somebody to lean on, for somebody to say, yeah, I can understand this is a really hard time for you. I can only imagine what you're going through. And I think just being there for that person, instead of saying, oh yeah, everything happens for a reason, look for the silver lining, which we discussed on the show, but that gyan in that moment may not be what the best thing for that person to hear. So don't fix. In short, listen. Avoid comparisons. कि यार या तो मैं देखती हूँ कि लोग अपनी स्टोरी में चले जाते हैं कि मेरे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ था, पता है, फिर ऐसा हुआ, फिर मैंने वैसा किया. So no, don't get into comparisons or share your own story. Validate that person's feelings, and then, if necessary, offer some kind of practical help. And as you said, I think, did we talk about it through a caller, or did you mention it, that, it's, what's that quote where they say, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, and teach a man how to fish and you
feed him for a lifetime.
So I think with adversity, it's the same thing, depending on the situation, that sometimes you don't want to go and fix it for that person. You want to be there with that person and let that person go through that together with you by their side, to lean on, so that they can become better, wiser, stronger, whatever it is that they need to learn from that adversity.
Yeah, let's quickly take a caller. Radio Azad, you're on the air.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम लेडीज. अब मेरी एक कॉल जो है आप दोनों को अप्रिशिएट करने के लिए, ये वाटर प्रोग्राम, और आयशा आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, मैंने इन एंड आउट सुना है, मैं पूरा सुनना चाहूंगी. और एक और चीज अप्रिशिएट भी करती है कि आप लोग ने कितनी मक्खियों से लड़ रहे हैं, सब कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप लोग शो कर रहे हैं. तो ये दूसरा ये कि मैंने इस चीज इन सारी लाइफ में एक और चीज से मैंने जो लर्न करी उसको मैं अपने शेर जो मैंने लिखा उसके लिए उसको मैं शेर में बताऊंगी 2 लाइन का शेर है और मैं चाहूँ कि सब लोग भी जो अगर गुजर रहे हैं तो इस चीज पे अप्लाई करें कि जो करे आपसे वफा उससे वफा करें बाकियों को अपनी जिंदगी से दफा करें.
बिल्कुल सही. Good one.
Yes.
Nice one. And I think the importance of empathy, as you said, and even as KFG mentioned it, right, is so important. That when that sometimes all that people want is just to commiserate with you. They don't want a solution. They just want you to commiserate and validate what they're going through.
और आजकल के ज़माने में ना, I feel, आयशा, कि वक्त, time is such a precious commodity. When people are going through adversity, what they tend to do is they tend to repeat the same story again and again and again. And you feel, yaar, ab main kitna sunungi? Ab to ho gaya. She's not moving any forward from there. But at that point of time, maybe your presence heals more than perfect words. Be there even when it gets time consuming for you or it's uncomfortable for you. Because venting is a process. Until that person doesn't feel that they've emptied their bucket, it may sound repetitive to you, but trust me, it's not feeling like that for them.
Yeah.
So I think having that patience and making time for people, which is such a precious commodity these days.
And listening without judging. तुमने
Yeah.
ये किया होगा इसलिए ये हो गया.
Yeah. And then trust and confidentiality. Helping somebody also involves that. I have seen so many people who help people, but somehow that information leaks. Either of the fact that they had helped that person or that the person is going through this adversity. And I think that's the worst that you can do for a person who has trusted you and been vulnerable with you, to feel safe with you, and to take that safety and make mess of it is so unfair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
I do have a small poem.
Okay.
That I'd love to share, and then I know we have a couple of song requests that we would love to fulfill as well. This one actually I wrote very recently when I was going through an adversity, and this one's titled "The Storm Didn't Stay." There was a season when the sky forgot how to be blue, when every sunrise arrived carrying questions instead of answers, and every sunset closed another day I wasn't sure I had the strength to survive. I pleaded for easier roads. Life offered me stronger feet. I prayed for the storm to leave. Instead, it taught me how to stand when the winds refused. Slowly, almost unnoticed, the cracks in my heart became windows. The tears became rivers that carried away versions of me that fear had built. And one ordinary morning, I looked in the mirror and met someone new. Not someone untouched by pain, but someone shaped by it. Gentler, wiser, braver. I finally understood. The storm was never sent to break me. It came to introduce me to the strength I had carried all along. So if today you are walking through your own storm, keep walking. Not because the road is easy, but because there is a version of you waiting on the other side who will one day whisper, "Thank you for not giving up on me."
Oh, beautiful.
So don't give up, ladies and gentlemen. Stay in there, walk along, and make this journey that you're on, facing your adversity, whatever it is. And as Azad says, what does he say? Allah क्या करे? मुश्किलें आसान करें
लोगों के लिए आसानी पैदा करे, रब आपके लिए आसानी पैदा करेगा.
बिल्कुल वही. So let's all hope for the best and be together along this journey of life.
All right. Thank you so much. I hope that we all know that we're all in this together and nobody has perfect lives. However you may think they are perfect on social media, they're really not. And as I love to say, everybody is fighting their demons. Do save Radio Azad 107.9 FM HD4 to your favorites, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow our clips that you can find everywhere, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok as well, and comment on them, because otherwise they will stop appearing in your news feed. Thank you for your contributions today, and